Today in Kenya, a teenager reads a magazine and learns of her value to God. How did it happen? An African magazine written, edited, and designed by Africans told the truth in a language and style she could understand. Magazines like the Kenyan Timazi and hundreds of others around the world are part of a vision birthed 50 years ago in Appalachia. There, a young woman in a mountain community saw Sunday school teachers struggle to teach lessons taught throughout the United States. What was the problem? The content and context of the lessons did not apply to the experience of children in the backwoods of Kentucky. Sharon Mumper's years in Appalachia and in a remote village in Colombia formed a unique vision. She would help magazines reach their own people with the message of the gospel, in words written by their own people, in their own context. Years passed, and then in 1989, in Eastern Europe, a fledgling Christian publishing industry emerged from the shackles of communism, and Christians from all walks of life prepared to reach people with the message of Christ through magazines. They had enthusiasm and determination. What they didn't have was training and resources. The vision God had given Sharon years before began to take form. A workshop for 5 magazine editors in Yugoslavia in 1989 was followed a few months later by an international conference for fledgling editors from throughout Eastern Europe. Eager editors, designers, and publishers traveled to conferences in Eastern Europe and then to the countries of the former Soviet Union. As its reputation for professional training grew, the ministry expanded to Asia and then Africa. Individual conferences turned into full-length intensive courses with 100-page manuals. DVD courses were added, and as internet training became a possibility, online courses and live workshops were introduced. Ebooks, teaching videos, and a resource-rich website drew visitors from more than 100 countries. It began as one woman with a vision for helping those God has called to publish. Now, MTI is an international ministry with more than 70 trainers guiding thousands of Christians whose magazines reach millions of readers. Today in Kenya, a teenager reading a Christian magazine discovers her value to God. Tomorrow, another child, adult, or pastor will find encouragement and guidance in the pages of a Christian magazine. At Magazine Training International, we have seen the power of the written word to change lives. 35 years after that first workshop in Yugoslavia, we continue to use every tool at our disposal to provide timely, practical training to Christians in publishing in less resourced areas of the world. We look forward to new opportunities to encourage and strengthen those God has called to the ministry of publishing, that God may be glorified in the pages of magazines in nations around the globe.